Hi, this is Janet Newman. Thanks for joining me. Once again, I am doing a live video and I'm going to follow up first on what I told you last week. I was out helping my mom and she had her knee surgery, which is amazing. She's recovered. She's already driving and it's only been 2 weeks. She is still taking her liquid collagen, and we can't say that that's doing it, but we think it might be helping. And then I got so many comments about following up for caring for the caregiver. So one of the things, you can watch that week's video about how you care for the caregiver, but I got so many questions about depression in adults. And what is the difference between being depressed when you're an adult, an elderly adult, because you do get depressed. You have a lifestyle change. A lot of times you have a death of a spouse. And what is normal? So we have normal activities that we do, and we consider 3 weeks of being really sad and really down being depressed, but not when you're an elderly adult. That we don't consider that, because you can't judge an elderly person the same as you would a normal person, because they have so many different problems with, well, one of the main things is, if at all possible, aging in place is the best way to age. That means leaving your parent at home, leaving them where they were, if at all possible, because a lot of things, it keeps them from A, having to learn new places, B, falling. That's the number one thing that happens when you move your parent. You fall, they break a hip, they hurt themselves, and they never recover from that. It's a problem for the rest of their life. And aging at home, it keeps them a little bit more in control. They feel a lot better when they're where they're comfortable, and then people can come see them and they know where they're at. Obviously, when they have dementia, and if they're not safe in their home anymore, then you have to move. That's pretty obvious. But the environment change is a big deal. Try to keep them at home as long as possible. And then what we call group therapy, but we don't want to call therapy to them because they don't like that word. Their generation, they're just not open to it. So we call it group play, or we're going to go do something with a group. There's so many community involvement. You can Google it, you can look at it. Senior centers, they have it, but we have pet therapy, art therapy, sand therapy. There's but you're not going to call it therapy. We're going to a group, and you're going to make new friend therapy. And once they get out and they start socializing a little bit, they'll feel a lot better. There's community centers, senior centers, Boys and Girls Club. Just look at anything that you can find and get those resources. I have a list where I live, but wherever you're coming from. By the way, drop me a note and tell me where you're coming from. And I can send you all this information if you like. Just say, send me info. One of the best things that I've found is mindfulness. And mindfulness goes with yoga and Tai Chi and meditation. If that's a reach, meditation, that's a reach for this generation, what I try and tell my families when I'm counseling my families is, what can they do where they can't think about anything else? To us, it would be like rock climbing. We can't think about anything else if we're climbing a rock. They can't think about anything else if they're trying to move as slow as they can. Tai Chi is just slow movements. They all can do it. Everybody can do it. And they have chair yoga. They have different types of yoga, and it's really good because they're thinking about themselves, and they're inside their mind, and it's peaceful. And after a while, they'll start getting it, and then they'll feel better when they do it, and they'll be asking for you to do it. But mindfulness is one of my favorite things to do. Then there's a scale that you can judge the depression by, and it's the Hamilton rating scale, and it's online, and it says most of what I just said. If they lose their appetite, if they're just not thriving at all in their environment, then you need to have them looked at by a professional, bring it up to the attention of their caregiver, and just say, this isn't right. And that's always a good thing. there's another scale, and I have to put my glasses on for this one because it's small, tiny print. The Kronosky Performance Status Scale. And this scale is, it's one when you are probably going to have to put your parent into a home or get full-time care. But after 80%, 100 to 80% is able to carry on normal activities, to work, no special care needs, no complaints, everything's good. At 70, you care for yourself, unable to carry on normal activity and do work. 60% requires occasional assistance, but is able to care for most of their personal needs. 50% requires considerable assistance and frequent medical care. That means having to have help to go to the restroom, having to have help to eat. Then at 40%, they're considered disabled. And that would require special care and assistance. Severely disabled is hospital admission. It's indicated, although it's not looking like the end is near, but they need 24-hour care. 20% very sick in the hospital with care. 10% is failing rapidly. So that's the scale that you will get, or someone will assess your loved one when you are taking them in and getting things done. Like, should I put them in a home? Should I not put them in a home? If at all possible, leave them in the home that they were in for the last 5 years or 10 years, or where you grew up, where they have memories and can link back to that. And once again, our patients here are doing great on their BioCell. I was gone for 2 weeks, and then I spent this whole week catching up with them. And I would say it could be mind over matter, but they all are feeling better. They're going swimming. It's like, yeah, my joints feel better, my bones feel better. And they took some pictures. They're not the best pictures. I maybe should have taken myself, but I will have some before and after pictures to show you. I mean, even the before and after I showed my mom's hand, where she had a huge knot on her hand that went away. So we'll have to ask her to send us another picture of her hand, and we can compare that. But other than that, drop me a note and let me know what I can tell you. If you're watching this after it's live, just put a 2 in there and ask me if you want any of this information on the elderly, how to get the scales, where to get them, where to get the contacts. I mean, I can Google it or tell you how to Google it. It's not that difficult, but the resources are there and you just need to use them. And it was really nice talking with you, and have a good evening. Good night.